Okay, welcome back, high school. This is going to be our day 3 of our building phase of your personality slab boxes. Today, hopefully you should have your rectangular walls of your box built, okay? I want to show you an additional tool you may use today. These are on the white shelves against the red wall in a can called Kemper tools. A Kemper tool is simply a rubber but strong tool. It has a curved edge, it has a flat edge. It works to reinforce your clay, it works to sculpt and smooth your clay. What I'm going to use this Kemper tool for is to go along the corners. And what I'm trying to do here is really get them to have that 90-degree angle and to be smooth. If you're still seeing a seam there, you can take your brush and use that to soften it. And I'm going to clean the side of my Kemper tool here and blend that seam out. So I'm holding it vertically with the long flat side and blending over that seam. Okay, and then I'm going to also go the other direction. I always kind of wipe it off like you just saw there on my canvas board. So when you guys are done with this, you will probably have to scrub your canvas board because you're going to have a lot of dry clay on there. Okay, so again, I'm using it, as you can see, so now I'm going to turn it and go here to get that 90-degree nice corner, okay? And so I go one direction vertical, turn it, go the other direction vertical. When you're making a slab, the corners are a big part that really are where you want to focus on that craftsmanship, okay? It's not the most fun, you're not going to see the most for your effort, but you're really going to notice at the end of some time spent that your corners are not only stronger, but they look smoother. They look more like that 90-degree angle. Okay? So I'm using my Kemper tool to go back and forth to really chop those corners, make sure that they are smooth and clean. Okay, so I'm going up one direction, I'm going to turn it and go up the other direction so that I get a nice corner there. Okay? So the Kemper tool is very helpful for that today. You want to make sure you have your box all figured out with this stuff before you're ready to start building. Okay, now I'm going to use the other direction. You can hopefully see I'm blending that seam away. And now I'm going to go back over it again and just kind of clean that. Okay, I'm turning it, and now I'm going to work on this side. Okay, and if you see little kind of, burrs coming up, just clean off your Kemper tool. It's probably you just forgot to clean it when you were working on that corner. Okay, and you can also use your finger to kind of scrape those off. So again, the Kemper tool, good tool to try if you have not tried it yet. If you have a seam there and it's not really being faded, it's most likely your clay is just a little too rigid there. So that's why I'm taking my paintbrush and some slip and just softening that clay a bit so that I can blend it. Okay, and if you ever think you messed it up like it looked like I did there, don't freak out. As long as you didn't punch a giant hole in it, you can always sculpt it back. Okay, looking pretty good. All right, and you might want to flip it and just kind of check, because it's hard to get to these bottom ones because my Kemper tool just doesn't go down that far. So just gonna finish those off a little bit. If you have a little place where it's cracking there, you wanna definitely make sure to work on that today. Okay, a couple of options. You can try and blend it out. Okay, that's one option. If you have tried to blend it out and that crack is still there, you're gonna have to take some extra clay. It might even be a super small piece of extra clay. All right, and you're going to have to slip and score it into that place and just smooth it out really carefully. Sometimes that just might be a place where it's not quite level. Okay, and you want to fix that up before you continue. So I'm taking a very small piece of clay, like smaller than like a tic-tac piece here, and I'm just going to score and slip that over that seam. Very lightly blend it. Okay, and then take my Kemper tool and blend that back level. Okay, take the time to fix those cracks if you see them, because they're only going to get worse as this dries out. Okay, it's likely you'll probably have at least one place where that's happening, and it will most likely be where your slabs are joined together, because that's always a weak spot. But by spending your time with the Kemper tool, you should be able to make it stronger. Okay, so I'm just going around here and really trying to get that stuff reinforced. Okay, now once you have your corners looking good, you're ready to add your end pieces today. Okay, before you add your end piece, check to make sure you don't have any walls that are warping, because you can place your hand in there very gently and push any walls that are kind of warping out from the inside. Okay, and that's just a great way to help with that shape. Okay, when you are building with flat pieces and trying to make something square, it's just more difficult. It's always more difficult to hang things and make them square than it is to just throw something up there on the wall. Okay, probably been to somebody's house where they just stuck some pictures up on the wall and didn't take the time to see if it was level. Okay, it doesn't look good. So, yes, it is more time consuming. But once you have your box built, the rest of it is pretty easy and you can kind of jump ahead, but you really got to do that groundwork now so that you have a nice solid piece. I picked up a butter knife, a plastic butter knife. I'm using that to help score. You can see it's just going to make some nice little grooves in there. And it should be a little bit faster than if you were using the modeling knife. But still be careful, because you can see there I just kind of was being too rough and went down into my wall. Okay, so take your time. And now I'm going to apply my slip. Okay, so by the end of this class, your goal should just be that you've really cleaned up those corners of your box and that you have the square ends securely attached. So I'm going to go in and just add some deeper score marks with my modeling knife. This is the most complicated long-term project we've done so far, so just kind of keep that in mind, that it's going to be more difficult and take more time. Okay, so as I'm applying this, I mean, in general, because this is a hand-built box, you're not likely to have all your corners lined up beautiful and it all just be perfect. Okay, you're going to have to spend some time sculpting and lining things up if they don't look right. So you can see I'm kind of adjusting corners, pushing them in if they need to be pushed in. Very gently, I'm pressing down from the outside edge to here to get my slip to ooze through. Do not push on the center. You'll cave in your end of your box there. So keep in mind that you only want to press down where the outer rectangular wall is going to help support it. Don't push down in the center where there is no support. Okay. All right. So now I have pressed it down. I'm checking to make sure that all of my slip has come through, and it lined up pretty good. I can see I have a little overlap right here. Maybe you guys can see that. A few choices with that. I can try and push out my wall from putting my hand inside there, or I can just take my Kemper tool and know I'm going to be sculpting some of that off. Or possibly, if need be, you might even be having to use your modeling knife and actually cutting it if your shape's really overlapping. Okay. And right here on this corner is very overlapping, so I'm just going to spend some time sculpting and cleaning that area up. Okay? So I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to let you guys move on. Once you have both ends attached, make sure that you put your name on one of the ends, and you're just going to set it out. It's just going to be this sort of rectangular container for now. Next class, we will cut your lid line.